Jai Hind children, welcome to my YouTube channel SOS Study Point. Now students, we are here with a very new topic of class 11th Hornbill book. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So now let us see what is the story of this chapter. Let's start. Now student, you can see this picture on your screen. So with the help of this picture you can imagine what types of story we will just have here. So now this is the chapter we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So this story is just written by Gordon Cook and Alan Est both. So now first of all let us see some fact related with the life of Gordon Cook and Alan Est. So let's see. Now here on your screen you can see the picture of Gordon Cook and Alan Est. Now if we talk about the Gordon Cook, then this is the first thing. He was born on 3rd of December 1978 in Toronto. He was a two-time Canadian Olympic sailor. He sails for the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. He is the son of Stephen Cook, Linda Cook. He had a great interest in writing stories to Cook. Too. Cook is a graduate of the engineering physics program at Queen's University. At Queen's University, he also met his 2008 Olympic team partner Ben Ramakar, where they were members of the university sailing team. Cook and Ramakar became the first Canadians to sail a 49 year in an Olympic regatta at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, where they finished 14th. In 2009, Cook partnered up with the West Vancouver sailor Hunter Lawden, and the two campaigned together for the 2012 Olympic Games. Now this was the some fact related with the life of Gordon Cook. Now let's see about the Alan Est. Alan was admitted to the role of solicitors in 2003 and has gained extensive experience as a litigator, manager and legal trainer. In 2004, he co-founded and managed a niche legal practice specializing in criminal litigation and prison law, gaining higher rights of audience in criminal proceedings and working as a deputy solicitor. Not a duty, this is deputy solicitor. In 2007, he joined the Crown Prosecution Service as a senior Crown prosecutor. In 2010, Alan joined Coventry University as a senior lecturer in law and works passionately to support access to justice, working closely with Central England Law Centre. In 2016, he became a director of Coventry Independent Advice Service. Finally, Alan is a co-founder of a multi-academy trust, Central Academies Trust, which has as its aim improving standards in secondary education. So, students, these are the facts related with the life of the writers Gordon Cook and Alan Est. Now let us see what is the main thing in this story. So see here. This story is written by Gordon Cook especially and Alan Est. This story is about a 37 years old businessman who is the narrator of this story. He has a wife named Mary and two children, Jonathan, whose age is 6-year-old, and Suzanne, just 7 years old. He and his wife both dream of a voyage around the world on their ship. whose name is Wave Walker, which is a just 23-meter long and 30-ton wooden hull, just like that of the famous Captain James Cook. Now, the whole family started sailing from Plymouth, England on July 1976. The initial phase of the 3-year-long journey was from Africa to Cape Town. It was pleasant. While heading east, along with two newly hired crewmen, strong waves hit them and their survival became a question. The story tells us about how they fought each day and survived till the end. So, student, this is the background of this story. This is the main point of this story, and we will see here detailed of this story next. Now, just student, this is a short clip of video of this chapter for you. So just have a watch this video and try to understand the background of the story and also the plot of the story. So let's see.
Hello my dear friends, welcome back once again to my videos. Today I'm going to give you a video that is based on the chapter of class 11 CBSE, chapter number 2. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. Dear friends, this is a chapter dealing with the adventurous voyage which was conducted by Gordon Cook and his family members along with two crewmen. And this lesson is written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. Now I'm going to give you the summary of the lesson and I hope that it will help you a lot. It was July 1976. The narrator started his journey from Plymouth, England. The narrator is a 37-year-old businessman. With him, his wife Mary, daughter Susan, who is 7 years old, and his son Jonathan, who is 6 years old, are also going. They are going in a specially built boat called Wave Walker. The boat was 23 meters long and 30-ton wooden-hulled beautiful boat. The boat was tested in the roughest weather and in the roughest seas. British waters, right? The first leg, here leg means a stage of journey. Beautiful boat. The boat was tested in the roughest weather and in the roughest seas. British waters, right? The first leg, here leg means a stage of journey. The first stage of journey was very, very peaceful and pleasant as they sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. Now before heading east, they took on means employed two crewmen. One was American Larry Vigil and the other one was Swiss Herb Siegler to help Gordon Cook in his roughest sea journey around the world. Actually, they were going from England to Australia. It was the it was the repeat journey by Gordon Cook, which was done many years ago, 200 years ago by Captain James Cook. Now, on their second day from Cape Town, they began to encounter very strong gales. And for the next few weeks, the storm blew continuously, but the waves were gigantic and the waves were as high as 15 meters. Okay, the sea became very, very rough and the weather was very hostile. Atrocious weather. On 25th of December, they were 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Right. Then, on the 1st of January 1977, the waves were gigantic. The boat was moving pretty fast and it was really dangerous situation, a perilous situation. So, as to slow down the speed of the boat, they brought down the storm jeep and they took a lot of other precautions to secure the boat. At about 6 p.m., they experienced a strange silence coupled with intriguing wind and darkness. Then came the gigantic wave vertically with a frightful breaking crest. Okay, the wave walker was crashed and the narrator fell overboard. He felt the approaching death. Actually, the starboard side of the boat was crashed. Starboard side is the right side and the left side is called the port side of the boat. Dear students, dear friends, you better know various parts of the boat. Here are some of the parts. You need to know the parts so that it will help you understand various terms that have been used in the prose. The wave walker was crashed and the narrator fell overboard. He felt the approaching death. Soon the narrator's head popped up and he was hurled back to the boat, but he was badly injured. However, he managed to hold the wheel and hang on. Then suddenly Mary appeared, opening the hatch of the deck, and she screamed at the top of her voice that the boat was badly smashed. Mary was asked to take the control of the wheel, and Larry and her, they started pumping the water. Okay, clothes, crockery, jars, stains, and the toys sloshed. Sloshed means moved about noisily in the deep water that was there in the boat. Narrator reached the children's cabin. Susan had a big bump just above her eyes. The narrator repaired the starboard side then. Starboard side means the right side of the boat. And then hand pumps started to block because the debris were blocking the flow of water. 2 spare hand pumps along with the forestay sail, the jib, the dinghies and the main anchors wrenched. Wrenched means fell overboard. Overboard means off the boat. He means Gordon Cook, managed with another electric pump. Then he sent mayday calls. Mayday calls means SOS call. SOS call means when you send a call to save yourself, that is called SOS call. But there was no reply in this remote corner of the world. Susan, narrator's daughter, was badly injured. She had swollen head, black eyes, and a deep cut on her arm. By 3rd January morning, the situation improved a little bit. They survived around 15 hours of bad weather and big waves, which hit the boat very badly. Wave walker would not hold together long enough to reach Australia because they were going to Australia. So the narrator decided to reach some other places nearby so that they could reach there easily. And after the calculation and checking the maps and charts, he discovered that there were 2 islands. But out of these 2 islands, Isle Amsterdam was better to reach. He tried to reach any one of these. So it was a very small, Isle Amsterdam was a very small and tiny island about few hundred kilometers from there. On 4th of January, the situation was better. Though the level of water in the boat came down due to continuous pumping, there was very short respite for them. Okay? Because at about 4 p.m., black clouds began to build up behind them. And by 5th of January, the situation was very, very hopeless. Desperate situation it was. Probably this is the most important part of the writing, is that where the narrator goes to his children, John and Sue's cabin. Here, Jonathan told his daddy, "Daddy, we are not afraid to die if we all can be together." Right? So daddy was really very, very sentimental. But he immediately goes out again to fight the sea. And the narrator made an improvised anchor with a barrel of paraffin and nylon rope. Then he sat with his wife Mary for some time. On 6th of January, the wind eased and the narrator calculated their location in the sea. They were desperately trying to locate Isle Amsterdam. Sue gave a card to her father with best wishes, best of her wishes, she did a caricature on the card. And then comes the concluding part of the writing, that is 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Gordon checked the calculation and the chart and everything and asked Larry to steer the boat 185 degrees. Then, with heavy heart, he went to his bunk and dozed off. When he woke up at about 6 p.m., John and Sue informed him with a big hug that they had discovered the island, the Isle Amsterdam, the most beautiful island in the world. And next morning, they set foot on the island. It was a beautiful journey, and it was a beautiful piece of writing, my dear friends. It gives you the courage to fight against the oddities of life, and this writing is giving us the inspiration how you can fight with any kind of difficulties in life, right? So with that note, I would like to thank you. If you have liked this video, I hope you will subscribe.
So student, I hope all of you are able to understand the background of the story and plot of the story. So let's see the next thing, the character. So in this story you will see here the narrator, the main character of this story, next Mary, third one is Suzanne, now Jonathan, and fifth is two crew member Larry Wiesel, Hob Sigler. So now let us see about some details about the character. Here the narrator. First one is, the narrator was just a 37 years old businessman. He proved as a great captain and father during the challenging and trying times after the irreparable damage done to Wave Walker by keeping his composure and wits. It won't be wrong to say that all lives on the boat could be saved just because of his seafaring skill. Now, next one is Mary. Mary, as you know, Mary was the narrator's wife. She saw a courageous and brave woman. She stood by her husband after the wave badly damaged the boat. She steered the boat according to her husband's instructions. She gave lots of emotional support to the narrator. Now, let us see the next two children. This is Susan and Jonathan. So Susan was narrator's 7 years old daughter. She was very brave. She was critically injured at the time the huge wave struck the boat. Her eyes were terribly swollen because of the head injury. There was a cut on her arm also. However, she did not cry. She repeatedly told her father she was all right. The truth was, she was not. She had to undergo 6 minor operations to remove the blood clotting from her brain. Now, the next character is Jonathan. Jonathan was Gordon Cook's 6-year-old son who had accompanied him on the round-the-world journey. After the Wave Walker was terribly broken by the colossal wave, he also behaved very courageously. He gave a new strength to his father when he said he was not afraid to die if he could be together with the family. So this line is also the title of this story. This statement is told by Jonathan. These words filled the author with new determination and courage. He resolved to fight till the end to save his family from being drowned in the stormy sea. Now, the next and the last two characters, Larry Wiesel and Hob Sigler. Larry Wiesel, Hoff Ziegler, and Larry Weasel were born professional sailors, whom the narrator hired at Cape Town to tackle one of the world's roughest sea and southern Indian Ocean. They proved to be real saviors. When the ship had been flooded with the sea water, they pumped like madmen to keep the water levels reasonably low. So, students, these were the character sketch of the characters of the story. So, just try to understand about the character. Now, let's see the summary of this chapter. So, I'm just starting from the very first scene of this story. In this story, we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. It's a story of extreme courage and skill exhibited by Gordon Cook, his family and crewmen in a war with water and waves for survival. In July 1976, the narrator, his wife Mary, Jonathan, and daughter Susan set sail from Plymouth, England, to duplicate the round-the-world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So, with the help of this line, you can see here, this was not the first time journey of 200 kilometers. Here, the narrator, Gordon Cook, here the narrator of the story, Gordon Cook, was just going to repeat that journey, which was just completed by Captain James Cook just before 200 years. So that is why here Gordon Cook just want to repeat that journey which was just completed by Captain James Cook, and he just want to feel that adventures on his voyage which was going to be repeat with his family. They took the voyage in their professionally built ship. Yes, he just took his professionally built ship that was Wave Walker. So he just completed his journey, his voyage, with the help of Wave Walker, which was built for the professional point of view, accompanied by two experienced sailors. Yes, he also accompanied by two experienced sailors, Larry Weasel and an American. Yes, Larry Weasel was an American person, and Hoff Ziegler was a Swiss person, to tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean. The first part of the journey, that is about 105,000 kilometers up to Cape Town. Passed off very pleasantly. On the second day out of Cape Town, they began to encounter strong gales. Gales did not worry the narrator, but the size of the waves was alarming, which was just up to 15 meters, as high as the main mast. Yes, the wave was as high as the main mast of the ship. You can see in the video, in this picture, what is main mast. On 25th of December, on the day of Christmas, the writer's ship was in the southern Indian Ocean and 3,500 kilometers to the east of Cape Town. This was the location of that ship. The family celebrated their New Year on board the ship. At dawn on 2nd of January, the waves were gigantic. Unfriendly weather and gigantic waves compelled the sailor to slow their speed. Yes, due to the wave, he just slowed their speed, drop storm cheap, and also take other precautions. Because danger was there in front of the ship, the danger was so obvious that the sailors completed life raft drills, attached lifelines, and life jacket. Now, This is the next time. Suddenly, at 6 p.m., a tremendous explosion shook the wave walker. This is the time when he was just caught in the hand of a storm. He was just facing that types of trouble and the author thrown overboard. The ship was about to capsize when another gigantic wave hit it, tossing it upright once again. Yes, this was the strength of the wave, who just tossing it upright. The author was thrown back onto the deck. Yes, due to the wave, he was just stuck on the deck. He was also just thrown back onto the deck, his head and ribs smashing against the wall. In spite of his injuries, the narrator took charge of the situation. He never afraid with that. He just took the charge of the situation. Somehow he found the wheel, lined up the stem for the next wave, and hung on the until Mary appeared and took charge of the wheel. Larry and Hop started pumping out water like madmen. Yes, both of them, Larry and Hop, they were just started pumping out the water like a madman. They were not thinking about anything else. They were just pumping, only pumping. The whole starboard side bogged in flood. The narrator managed to cover canvas across the gaps to prevent water from entering the ship. Yes, with the help of this line, you can see here that two men were just pumping out the water like a madman, and the narrator is also to manage to cover canvas across the gap. For what? To prevent water from entering the ship. Then came more problems. Their hand pumps stopped working and electric pumps short circuited. So this was also the difficult thing. Fortunately, the narrator found a spare electric pump under the charred broom. That worked. Yes, he was lucky because that pump was just working. The entire night was spent in pumping, steering, repairing, and sending radio signals. So whole the night of that day was just spent like this, spent doing these types of work. The narrator checked his charts and calculated that he was at Amsterdam. A French scientific base was there only home. So this was the place, that was the island which was the only hope to alive in the world. Sue and Joe were also injured, but they said that they were not afraid to die if they could all be together. So this statement just gives him is to mean writer. So here this statement of John just giving this strength to his father. Sue's head also swollen and she had a deep injury on her eyebrow. The narrator became more determined, seeing his children's courage. Finally, they reached Amsterdam, a volcanic island. Yes, Amsterdam was a volcanic island where they were welcomed by 28 inhabitants. Thus, the collective strength and never-failing optimism of sailors made it possible for them to come out of the jaws of death. Though Jonathan and Susan did not do anything to save Wave Walker, but their courage, forbearance, faith, optimism give extra strength and persistence to the narrator and his team. The bravery of strong-willed children is noteworthy in this story. So, with the help of this last line, we do not forget to the strength and also the courage of this small child. So just keep remember both children. I mean to say, Jonathan and Sue was also brave. They were full of bravery. That is why we do not forget the importance of Sue and John's character in this story, because they were just giving courage to their father. Now let us see. This is for your assignment. So just write the summary of the story and the plot summary on the plot voice. Just like here it is mentioned, plot summary of We Are Not Afraid to Die. Just write here. So what types of point you have to write here? You should write here globe journey. There was, problems begin. They suffered injuries, more problems, 6-year-old brave, victory. These 7 points are given here. So just make a notes on these 7 points. So this was the content. Thank you for watching, and I hope all of you can understand my story, my video, this content. So just study, just watch this video very carefully and try to make a proper note on the basis of this video. Thank you. Have a nice day and goodbye.